Hello, everyone. Adrian Țofei here, and this is our first Spaces together with Duru Yücel, who is my life partner and creative partner as well. And just a second, because we are both new to Spaces, let me see how to add Duru, invite co-hosts. Trying to add Duru to the. Okay. Duru Yücel is now co-host in this space. Good. You accepted the invite to co-host. I think now you also need to accept the invitation to speak, and your microphone is off. You need to turn your microphone on.
I turned it on.
Now I can. Now you are heard. Good. We are finally on, everybody, on our first. On our first spaces together, because before, like some months ago, I secretly and without any announcement, I did some some little spaces just by myself, just to test. I just went live like for a couple of seconds, and I was surprised how happy a couple of my fans were to just find me there all of a sudden. So I thought, oh, that's a sweet and cool thing to connect with fans. So I thought, okay, let's do it a bit more official and announced this time. Although I'm aware that the hour might not be the best for most of you, especially if you're in the US. It might be like early noon for you. And I'm aware that probably not many of you would like to do this at noon, but yeah, that's the best we can do in terms of hour, because for us right here it's like 10 p.m. in the night, so that's the best we could do. Drew, you know that your microphone is off now, right? You're aware. I'm just trying to make sure.
I intentionally turn it off, just in case there's going to be some noise around, and as you speak, I'm just listening, and then when I'll speak, I'll put it on.
That's a wonderful thing, actually, because that's a wonderful thing that these spaces offer. So we can do that indeed if we have environmental noises. I see, by the way, everybody here listening to us, just send if you want to intervene in the discussion, if you want to say hi, if you want to ask questions about, doesn't have to be about our movies necessarily. It can be about any movie. I don't know. Just send. You have an option in the app. You have an option to send a request to speak. Or you can just listen. So, Duru, what have you been doing lately, movie related? Let's talk about what we've been doing lately.
Yeah, good to talk about it. First of all, how is my voice? Is it good?
Oh, it's very good. You are heard very well. Yeah, everything works fine.
Great.
Technically, we're good.
Okay. First of all, movie-wise, what I'm doing. You mean like an intro? You want an intro?
No, I mean just no. I just meant like because I already introduced you in the beginning of these spaces. I said that you are my life partner and creative partner, and I'm assuming. But yeah, actually, you know what? Maybe let's not assume. Maybe not everybody listening knows that we are working on the trilogy and all that. They may know, but maybe they don't know. So we are working on a trilogy together. It's a loosely based trilogy. First one is Be My Cat. Duru was not involved in Be My Cat, but Duru is heavily involved in the second installment of the trilogy, which is We Put the World to Sleep. She's both the star and the producer, and we are both co-starring in We Put the World to Sleep. And also she will be heavily involved in the third installment of the trilogy, which is called Pure. and she's going to star in Pure, and I'm going to direct that one. But yeah, and because that one is the third installment and it's just in development. About that one, there aren't many things that we can say about that one yet. So mainly our work this period is on We Put the World to Sleep, which is as I said, the second installment. It's been in the works for a few years now, and we are editing it. And lately, by the way, lately I really had some very interesting revelations while working on the film, like realizing some stuff that I don't know, like realizing some stuff and then immediately thinking like, oh my God, how come I didn't think of this before? Some stuff that is so essential actually to this movie being efficient when it goes to festivals, to distributors and stuff like that. I was like, oh my God, how come I couldn't think of this? They're simple, minor stuff that just details that you just don't. Although while editing, you constantly see the same footage again and again and again and again. And although I was looking at that element again and again, somehow, it didn't strike me in any way. And all of a sudden, these days, while going through the same routine, watching the same footage, 'cause that's what you do when you edit the film. You watch again and again and again the same stuff, and you do corrections, you do cuts, you do tons of sound editing, you do tons of video editing, so all of a sudden I saw this detail. I was like, wow, oh my God, I can't believe I haven't realized this before. And I was so happy that it finally came to me. So yeah, this is a very satisfying experience when you work. And by the way, one of these details did not happen while working while actually being in front of the computer. One of the stuff came to me while I was literally running. I came after a full day of work, like my eyes were hurting, my back was hurting constantly in front of the computer and all that. I thought like, oh my God, I really need a break right now. I can't take it anymore. So I just went on a night run. Actually, it was quite late actually. So and this all of a sudden I just had this realization, and all of a sudden it hit me while running on the streets with the footage that I had just edited, and then I was rushing back to my computer and to do those changes. So yeah, that's my experience. And Duru, by the way, Duru helps so much with how this process works. Let me tell you a little bit of the process. So the way this process works is that I do the changes on the computer in the editing program. I do a number of them, and then Duru watches those changes that I do, and she provides feedback. She's telling me like, we have this this program, and she's watching it, and she's like, she's stopping it, while watching together. We're stopping the footage, and she's telling me like, oh, here you need to do that, here you need to change this stuff doesn't work, this stuff works, and stuff like that. So then after I get all her feedback, again there is a period of editing and applying those changes. And after that, she again watches and again provides feedback and so on. So this is how our editing process works. So Duru, because you asked like, about the introduction. Oh, I meant like an open discussion, about what we've been doing and what we've been thinking, like a relaxed discussion. Yeah, I don't want these spaces to be too official, Yeah. So and
Yeah.
And
go on.
Yeah, so these and maybe I was thinking maybe we can talk, because we've been asked a lot about what movies in the Q&As. We've been asked a lot about the movies we liked and the movies we would recommend, either found footage or horror, even general. I think, I think we were so much in a rush with the Q&A, and we didn't fully manage to fully explain to people, to talk about all the movies we liked and stuff. So maybe we can approach that as well if people are curious. And by the way, let's remind everybody. So hi everyone attending. I see here Violet, Brian, Human. Yeah, some of you have these have these nicknames. So Lost City and a Switch here. Thanks for joining. And by the way, if anybody wants to intervene in the discussion, either to
please do.
Yes. If you feel like
ask anything or say anything,
or just say hi. Yeah, don't let us talk by ourselves here. Like, I mean, we already did that in the YouTube Q&As. We this time let's make it more with more direct interaction.
The more interaction the better, because that will be the most enjoyable part for us.
Exactly.
To finally be able to kind of come together with you all.
Yeah, exactly. And hopefully we will come together.
The way of coming together.
Exactly. And hopefully we will come together in festivals with We Put the World to Sleep. But nonetheless, those festivals, of course, they depend a lot on where all of you live. So you may not be able to attend the festivals and stuff like that. So till then, these spaces, I think, are the best way to connect together and have a chat.
And for the shy ones, if you don't want your voice to be heard, there is chat option, I believe.
And there is what?
There is the option for written questions, I believe, or comments.
Yes.
I mean, they don't.
Yes.
People don't need to.
Yes, actually.
Necessarily be heard.
So good you mentioned that, and I actually forgot about that option. Yeah, there is a bubble here, which I think has a but I don't know, how do you access that thing? Duru, do you know how people can send messages if they don't want to talk here in the app? Because I see here a bubble, but I'm clicking on it and it doesn't take me to. Duru, I think you're out of out of spaces.
Host again, because
yes.
Okay. As I was trying to inquire that option, I just took myself out of.
Yeah, I sent you the invite to co-host again. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there must be an option. So I'm so sorry, everyone. Like, I can't help you telling you which that option.
No, I think that is the option. As far as I could just see, it's easy. There's that thing there.
Yeah, but look, for example, when I click on it, it doesn't take me to a place to write a message.
It writes. It takes actually, and I see two.
Comments here. Hello, Adrian and Duru. Thanks for hosting. Okay, that's it. So practically, they appear as simple comments to the spaces, like as simple comments to the tweet. That's how they appear. I got it now. Yes. Okay, good. Oh, hi, human centipede. Also, Switch Dog replies here in the comment section. Yeah, I hope you're having a lovely evening. Well, hope you are having a lovely evening as well. And thanks for joining. Yes. So so now we've learned how to do the how to comment here for anyone who is not comfortable with actually intervening in the discussion with voice. Yeah. So Duru, we were talking about some movies that we've watched, and I think we've both realized that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we've both realized that there were. I think when we were asked about found footage on horror and stuff like that, I think we've realized there were more movies that we could have talked in the Q&A. In the meantime, I did a post, by the way. I did. I think you probably saw it. I did a post with a list of found footage films that I enjoyed and I feel like recommending. And I know some of them are your favorite as well. Some of them in that list. So maybe we could talk about that. And everyone else, let us know if there is. Hello from Romania, Lilica. Wonderful.
By the way, I cannot see the comment, so I'm sorry for anyone.
You cannot see it. There is a bubble.
I'm listening. Yes, I go there, but I cannot.
No. Yeah, go to the.
But it's good. So I will be hearing them from you.
No, there is a bubble. Okay? There is a bubble that writes 3. Do you see it? Yes, that's okay. What I mean. When I go there, after I
cannot see
here's
anything there.
I also couldn't see. So here's what you need to do. Here's what you need to do, Duru. After you click there, you scroll. You scroll because
I scroll, but
there at the bottom.
It doesn't even let me scroll. Yeah. But there is nothing.
Mm-hmm. That's anyway. You will hear them. Probably there is a bug. Yeah, you will hear them from me. So
you will tell me. Mm-hmm. From you, I will hear.
Yeah. So anybody, if you are curious about anything about us, or I don't know, maybe because that's a thing we haven't talked a lot. I think. I mean, if you are curious, our opinions about some movies or something like that, we can chat about that as well. Or they don't necessarily have to be our movies. It can be any type of stuff. Yeah, we've recently we've both watched Oppenheimer, but we haven't watched Barbie yet, right, Duru? You also haven't watched Barbie.
No, I haven't seen Oppenheimer yet. I haven't.
You haven't seen Oppenheimer yet. Oh, okay.
No. And Barbie as well.
And Barbie, yeah.
I haven't seen yet.
Yeah. I hope Barbie is still in theaters, because I might want to see that as well. But yeah, Oppenheimer was that's a very interesting story about me and Christopher Nolan's movies. I went to see Oppenheimer with my mom. By the way, right now, for the time being, we are in separate locations. Duru right now is in Turkey. I'm in Romania. I had to take care of something about my mom, so I went to see Oppenheimer with my mom. But in my hometown in Romania, where she lives, there is no theater, so we had to go to a city nearby. So it's very interesting that I think the 2 of the 3 times in my life when I had to go to another city to watch a movie happened to be Christopher Nolan's films. Because many years ago, and again with my mom, so interesting, like many years ago when Interstellar premiered, we went to actually a much far away city to watch Interstellar. And that was before I met Duru. I think that was even before I did just a second. So Interstellar premiered in 2012 or 2014. I forgot. Anyway, I think either way it was before I did Be My Cat. Yeah. And I went to a faraway place to watch Interstellar in the theater. And now again, it happened somehow that I went with my mom to another city to watch another Nolan movie. And I can't say I'm a huge Nolan fan or anything like that, but it just happened that I'm letting you in a moment, Violet. It just happened, It just happened that that these films, Oppenheimer and in Interstellar, they happen to be movies that should be watched in a theater. They're based on the way they were promoted and everything like that. I felt like I'm really missing the point if I'm just watching them on my computer or TV. Okay, so and I didn't regret watching any of them. Okay. Hi, Violet. I've just added you now as a speaker. Hope you could. Oh, okay. You can, if you want to enter the discussion, you just have to click your microphone to make it on, because the microphone is even when I'm accepting you as a speaker, I think the microphone is off by default. So you need to make it on. Lost City, we are hearing you.
Oh, hi. I was just going to point out, let you know that there's another movie called Ghosts of Hiroshima.
Your sound cut off. I couldn't hear. I couldn't hear the title of the movie.
Ghost with something with ghosts, but
yeah,
right now
we can't hear.
Your microphone doesn't look like muted. However, right now you are back.
Right now you are back. Yeah, there is. Now, can you repeat the title of the movie?
Oh, it's called Ghosts of Hiroshima.
Ghosts of Hiroshima. Is it a documentary or a fictional feature?
It's fictional, but it uses real story, real account of the surviving of the bombing. It's a found footage horror film. A man inherits a house right around where the bombing had happened, and it's haunted. And it's haunted with people with ghosts that,
wow,
from the bombing area.
Wow. Oh my God. Like, this really feels like something I might be interested in watching, because I like found footage that delves into serious subjects, into subjects that talk about, of course, some might say that, I don't know, seriousness is subjective. I don't know. Maybe for some people, what happens in Blair Witch Project is something serious. I don't know. For me, it's not.
Yeah.
For me, serious means, I don't know.
I think I disagree.
You disagree?
I disagree. I think, universally speaking, it's quite clear that these types of issues like Holocaust or anything similar, or like war, and anything history related, or anything which affected huge amounts of people, a huge number of people, I think that's definitely serious.
So you think it's objectively serious?
To call it serious.
Okay, I see. Well, I'm just aware. I don't know. I've seen.
And by the way, which country, the origin country of this one?
It looks like it was all set in Japan where it happened. The story is a man inherits the house and he goes to collect it, and while he's exploring the house, he finds recordings. And it's.
I mean the filmmaker, the production.
I was
that I don't.
That I don't know. I'll have to go and look that up. I just while he was talking about enjoying Oppenheimer, I just realized that there was a found footage that tied in with it that he might want to check out.
I will definitely check out.
Me too.
Because I really care about these things, and care about. When I say I care about, also in art, this quote unquote serious stuff, I really feel drawn. And so when it's mixed with a found footage style, it's quite interesting, actually. I don't think there are
it didn't come off.
This is the only one, probably, right?
Well, it didn't come off as subjective or exploitive. It just it basically it pointed out that it pointed out the horrors of the bombing and what had happened, and that was the horror element of the movie, not just as not as just a backdrop of of them exploiting and going with it. It was just like, it was the interviews was the horror part of the element, was that you realized that those were people that it had happened to, and it was a horrific thing that had happened.
Yeah, and I would love to definitely see it.
Yeah, and
thank you for the mention.
Me too, and I'm happy to hear that it's not exploitative, because just when you said that, I was actually about to ask that, like, oh, isn't it exploitational? No, doesn't exploit the suffering, because some movies may risk falling on that path. That's the risk actually. That's a risk actually. Although I wish to see genre films or found footage films that delve into serious issues, but there is always a risk, I believe, to be accused of exploiting the tragedy and stuff like that. So it's a little bit tricky to make it right without feeling it's exploitation. So I'm actually happy to hear you saying it was not exploitation. That makes me even more interested in checking this movie out. Yeah.
That leads up to a follow-up question I have, and then I'll get out of your hair and let you go on that. It's your movie Be My Cat is streaming for free on Tubi, and are you guys getting properly compensated for that?
Yeah.
There's kind of an issue going on right now with the writers and actors over being properly compensated for their work.
Okay.
Streaming platforms fall into it.
Yeah, I see. Well, the money we do get. I mean,
the SAG-AFTRA thing you are talking about, right?
I'm sorry.
The SAG-AFTRA strikes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
By the way, sorry. After you finish speaking, do you think you can mute yourself? Because we hear a background noise.
There's a background
type
noise
of a thing.
Yeah, from you.
I'm sorry for saying. I hope to.
Let me turn the mic off and let you speak. I'm sorry about that.
No problem.
Here, hold on.
No problem.
No, I mean you can. We don't mean to go off. I mean you can always come back in, but in the period.
No, I only meant when he doesn't speak.
I know. I'm trying to make it clear. Yeah. So only in the periods when you don't speak, mute it, and then turn it on and off. Yeah, because some microphones have this. They are not very good with sound isolation, noise cancellation. Yeah, so about I'm going to respond about us making money with Be My Cat from streaming platforms like Tubi. Yeah, as you probably know, Tubi, it's on Tubi for free, but with ads practically. So Tubi does pay the distributor, so that's a legitimate platform, of course. It's not pirated or anything like this. So it's also on YouTube for free, I think. Yes, but less money, much less money comes from YouTube. YouTube pays very, very little. Tubi pays a little bit more, but still little. It's not much. So they pay the distributor, because the movie put the movie on all these. They pay the distributor, and then the distributor pays us. Actually, I believe the distributor used the third party company to put the movie on Tubi. So Tubi pays that third party. They retain a part of the money, and the rest they pay to the distributor. And then the distributor retains a part of the money, and then they pay us. So there's in the end, there isn't much money that reaches us, but there is something. But that's the system, That's the system. That's how things work. So yeah, here in Romania, there isn't much that. Or in Romania or in Turkey, there isn't much that me and Duru can protest about this, because we are indies. We are still outside of the system for now. although so we do make money, but little. I can call it little. I can't call it to money that you can make a living. Definitely not at this point. That's why we also have a Patreon account where people support our projects, and we try to provide their exclusive content, and they get merch and credits in our movies and all that, because as indie filmmakers, you gotta I don't know, you're gonna try to survive on multiple fronts. just one is definitely not enough in order to survive, and not just survive, make more movies, because it's not just survival important. Making movies, it's almost as equal as important. So
okay, so I just wanted to make sure, because I often call back to that movie and promote it on my social media, and I just wanted to make sure that saying that it's available to watch on Tubi or other platforms, that you're getting compensated for it, and it's not helping to take advantage of them robbing you of your income.
No. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing that. And actually, even though Tubi doesn't pay much, I can say that the two platforms that bring us the most money, even if it's little money, it's still more compared to others, are Tubi and Amazon.
Right.
So it definitely helps to promote the Tubi link. Yeah. Thank you so much for that.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. Well, that was my questions and suggestions for you. I'm going to let you go and let others talk. Thank
you a lot.
Thank
you so much for intervening. And if you feel like adding something else, always feel free to pop into the discussion back into discussion.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, what were we talking? What were we saying before? I finished my story with Oppenheimer and with and now yes.
Sorry, Adrian.
Yes.
I think there are two other people waiting to speak.
Yes, they are.
As far as I could see.
But
if that's the case, just jump in.
Yes, of course.
Anyone?
Hi, Violet.
Hi,
we can hear you.
Hi.
Oh my gosh. Hi, Duru. This is the first time I think I speak with you.
So nice. Good to speak. Good to meet. Even though we don't see each
so
other.
Nice to meet you after a fashion.
Yes. Likewise.
Yes. I love the list that you guys had compiled about found footage movies that you admire, and I was wondering if either or both of you had seen a very, very, very like micro budget found footage film called Leaving DC.
Maybe Adrian has, but I'm sorry, I'm not a real found footage fan at the same time. I say it everywhere.
That's not real. Like, what even is a real fan of anything? That's such a false construct, so don't worry.
Yeah, right. Thank you. And definitely Adrian might have seen it. Adrian, have you?
I had it, I think, on my watch list for a while. I may still have it, but lately I've been extremely selective of the movies I watch, because I had less and less time to watch movies. I mean, there is editing. There is editing. There are other responsibilities. When there is no editing, and when there are no editing and there are no other responsibilities, there is the responsibility to update my social media channels and keep you guys informed. So there is less time for me to watch movies. So I haven't watched this one, but. I can tell you one thing. I will, because I had it in my watch list and I still have it. If I don't, I will put it back there, and hopefully its turn will come at some point.
Yay! Hopefully you like it. It always baffles me. Like whenever I remember the film, I think it can't be as good as I remember it as. But then I watch it again, and I'm like, holy shit! It actually is this good with this few resources, just based on the psychological realism and the editing. So it might be your cup of tea at some point.
Yeah, I've seen actually that it feels like a super indie project, and yeah, I got curious definitely about it. So yeah, thanks both of you. So far we have two found footage movie recommendations: Living DC and Ghosts of Hiroshima. Yeah, cool.
I'm also going to see this one.
The
Thank you.
Living DC. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm checking the comments in the meantime to see if anybody else wrote. Lost City Magic. Yes, we've talked about Ghost of Hiroshima. Okay. Yeah. So.
A switch. Sorry, I think I'm saying it wrong. A switch dog, because I can't see the real name, so I have to just say what it's written there. I think you wanted to speak.
Yes. Hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, very well.
Yes, we hear
Okay.
you. Hi.
Good. So yeah, it's a switch dog. For your information. So yes, that's correct. And it's great to finally talk to you. I've been a big fan of your work, Adrian, and I'm super excited to see Duru as well in the upcoming movies. Really liked Be My Cat. Yes, really liked Be My Cat, and I actually heard about it from some YouTubers who covered the film, Meat Canyon and Wendigoon over on YouTube, who really sung the praises of Be My Cat, and I checked it out, and I really enjoyed it. So big thanks to them for leading me to your guys' work. Really like that. And I was going to ask if either of you have heard of a movie called La Casa Lobo, or also known as The Wolf House.
Thank you so much, and I'm indeed, and I'm also so grateful to all the influencers and YouTubers, and Meat Canyon and Wendigoon are two of the top people that really brought so many of their fans to Be My Cat. I'm really grateful for that. No, I haven't heard of this movie. Can you tell us about it?
I've heard, but it's just that I've heard, and that's it.
Yes, so I'll explain a little bit. I won't say too much because it's definitely a movie worth experiencing. But it's a 2018 Chilean stop motion animated horror drama film directed and animated by Cristobal Leon and Joaquin Cosina. And the film is entirely stop motion animated, but with life size props and painting, and it's incredibly experimental. It's very slow and monotonous, and the story is very hard to understand if you don't know the context. But it's definitely super interesting, and definitely, I think, worth a watch. It's if you know a little bit of the backstory about it, the movie is actually the whole movie is an analogy for a very tragic event that took place in Chile, which I won't elaborate on. But they explore the themes of that event through the movie in such a unique and thoughtful way. So I thought that might be an interesting movie to bring up.
I'll definitely check it out myself. This one. And the funny thing is, and it's a very serious thing I'm talking about myself here. when it's one-on-one recommendation or mention, like you guys did right now, with these 3 movies, I feel it's more of a personal thing there calling me, and I feel much more intrigued, and I really get curious. And it's interesting, even if I have read it like from a good critique or like an important publication praising the movie, I don't know, I wouldn't probably have felt what I'm feeling right now, and I feel really curious when you guys recommend things or talk about things. So I'm going to check it out.
Yes, I agree, Duru, so much with this. Yes, I feel the same, like, yeah, I mean, I don't know, probably it probably has to do with people actually being real and making an effort to join this discussion and enter the conversation. Yes. It's different from just reading something. I mean, yeah, I mean it's definitely something else. Yeah, interesting. It's interesting this spaces experience. Yeah, definitely. And already I can tell you, like, I would definitely love to do spaces again in the future, because yeah, I think I'm enjoying, to be honest, I think I'm enjoying this spaces experience more than the YouTube live stream Q&As. Yeah, because there you can't see or you can't hear the people. You just see their comments. So you still, when you talk, when you reply, yes, there is a bit of connection, but still not a full connection. You still feel a little bit lonely, a little bit yourself with the computer, because you just see the writings of people. But here it's different. It feels more of a more like a real meeting, indeed. And thanks for recommending this film as well. Yeah, speaking of experimental films, I used to be very, very passionate about experimental films in high school and stuff, about all kinds of experimental work. For example, one of the movies that impressed me the most was Andy Warhol's Empire, which is literally like a static shot of 8 hours of the Empire State Building. Okay, so it's like it has a 3 rating on IMDb, and a lot of people call it a very pretentious film and all that. But I like these experiments because, of course, the value is not in the movie itself, not in the content of the movie itself. The value is in the fact that it makes you think. It teaches you to think out of the box, Because honestly, I'm going to tell you honest, like before hearing of a movie like this, like Andy Warhol's Empire, I don't know, like I feel like there is a before and after. I feel like after learning that this movie exists, I feel like my point of view opened, like I cannot find the right word actually in English. I can think in Romanian right now. I kind of find like my horizons opened all of a sudden. So I just felt like I can think more out of the box. I don't have to be limited anymore by rules, but by what cinema is, by what can you do and what can you not do. So I feel like even a movie like this, like Andy Warhol's Empire, I felt I owe to that movie the fact that I did Be My Cat, because there is this thing, when you live in a place and in an environment when nobody does a certain thing, in order to be the first to do something. Because in Romania, nobody does horror movies and nobody does found footage movies. And in general, almost nobody does movies. So, so in order to do something that nobody did before, that.
I'm sorry, but I think you meant indie, like nobody does movies in Romania. You meant like there is little to none in this stuff.
Horror,
that's what you mean.
Okay. When I did Be My Cat, there was not even there was no horror production at all. I think mine was definitely the first found footage feature film in Romania, and I think only the second, if I'm not mistaken, horror film, and the only horror film that was known internationally. I think before there was even one. So in the genre, definitely there was no activity in the genre filmmaking, and in the general filmmaking as well. I mean, I don't know, compared to Hollywood, or even compared probably to UK, I think the film is not very we don't make lots of films. you don't see people around the cities running around with cameras. So yeah, so what was I saying? Yeah. Yeah. So I was talking about Empire. So in order to do something that nobody did before, you need a specific mentality, or you need a specific way of thinking. You need a spark, And I felt that experimental films that really taught me to think outside of the box. It's like if that guy had the audacity to just take a shot, an 8-hour shot of a building and call it a movie, why wouldn't I have the audacity to just pick up a camera and make a movie? So that was the way I think. So from that perspective, I like extreme experiments, even the most I don't know, like even the most extremes in this regard. I don't mean politically extreme or violent or anything like that. Yeah, so that's my history, and I actually did. By the way, I'm curious how many of you watched. I don't know, or should I put watched between brackets? How many of you watched my experimental short film Lost Footage? I think if you watched it, yeah, you definitely saw the roots of my love for experimental film in my teenage years. That was like Lost Footage was something like a dormant thing, because I never got, because now I cannot say that I have a passion anymore for experimental films, but because I had it and it was so intense, in my teenage years, it was like something that was left to be applied, so I felt like I have to do it. I have to do this film. Yeah, I'm curious if any of you watched it and what you thought of it.
Is it available somewhere for us to watch?
I made it actually. It's on YouTube, and I think I even shared it. Probably, maybe I forgot to share it on Twitter. It's possible, or maybe I shared it as a YouTube link, because I know. Yeah, probably that's the problem, because both YouTube and Facebook, I think they are severely limiting the reach of YouTube links, because they want to force you to upload the videos to their own platform. So probably that's why it didn't reach many when I shared it on Twitter.
What was the name of it again? And we'll go look it up.
Lost Footage.
Okay.
If you write on YouTube Lost Footage and my name, you will definitely find it. It's a short film, and I even put when you start to be too intrigued about it, and when you start to think like, what the fuck is this? You can pause and read my description, because on YouTube I also put a very long description and explanation of why I did it. Before you hate me for doing it, and for read my yeah.
Before I start thinking you're insane for putting that out.
Yeah, let me see if I can put a link to it in.
Okay, I'm definitely adding it to my list, and I'll give it a watch.
Yeah, cool. I think my microphone. Sorry, I think my microphone went off a bit, because I tried to go to YouTube to put the link now, but I think it takes me off of the. Of this app, so I won't do that. I will share it later. I will share it later on.
You're starting to sound like you're regretting letting people be aware of it.
I know. Yeah. No, I was really trying to go to, or Duru, if you take over a bit the discussion while I go to YouTube to try to put the link here in the comments, because I think it.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone want to ask me anything? I'd like it more. I mean, instead of me just talking. Don't know what to talk about if you don't. Yeah. Sorry, Violet. I think you are trying to say something.
Oh, yes, Duru. So I was so curious if you could.
Oh, I love your voice, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh, I love your voice. I was so curious about what your experience was like as an artist, like as an actor.
Thank you for calling me artist, first of all.
Of course. Like, I respect Adrian's methods so much, and I'm so excited to see what this creative collaboration with you has wrought in this new movie. So I was wondering what your experience was like working with him in this very unconventional, super intense method where you're both so in character with all these layers, just like what it was like for you psychologically and artistically.
Thank you. I think I should have been born as an Australian, because they say they have this self-effacing quality about them. I mean, they are confessing it about themselves, and I think I have it a lot. Anyway, after this parenthesis, that's why I'm always like, oh, thank you for calling me an artist. Anyway, we put her to sleep. So, it's been such a roller coaster of a ride, because when we met, it was just an idea. He had already cast one of the other leads, and then that changed after 2 years as well. So it was so much on a mental plane before it actually took off. And what I deemed fit to this project in terms of my involvement in it as the second lead, I felt like I can be more like a sprinter rather than a marathon runner. And that was meaningful in the sense that lots of it was written as we were going along with shooting. So we could make anything out of it. It was a full empty canvas. And that much room, that much allowance, makes you, of course, change lots of things as you go. And at the same time, you can come up with many things. And that's no boundary in that sense. And you figure out as you go. It's really experimental in that sense. That's why you kind of, me especially, had to be a sprinter. The very nature of it demanded that. Because how can you run a marathon if you don't know from the start the actual path that you are running on and the distance you are running, right? And there is a beginning. The marathon is like this, right? Like it's this long thing and you know where it ends at least. And here we didn't even know where it ends. That's why we have lots of footage, many hours of footage. In that sense, I felt like I can get intense in short periods of time, talking about intensity that you mentioned. And also I think that's exciting, definitely. That can be a luxury, definitely, for an actor. And for me, definitely. And so I enjoyed that at the same time. And sometimes I'm less experimental than Adrian, definitely. I mean, when it comes to my poetry, and I also write lyrics, in the last years, I started to write in English as well, because I never used to receive before that. I was always writing since I was a child, I was always receiving inspiration in my mother tongue. But in the last years, I think English became a real part of me, probably. And I receive inspiration in English. So I can be really uninhibited and in my writing most of the time, and I can in my lyrics and in my poetry. But when it comes to, I think, especially acting, I need more knowing and less experimental approach, I think. So that was a challenge from time to time, because imagine you are writing it literally with your acting, and you can go a million ways in any given moment, and that's a little bit too much for an actor, I think, because it's like literally you are carrying every second the burden, the quality, the burden of quality in your shoulders as you are acting, and that's a little bit too much, I think. I don't mean like, oh my God, it was a horrible experience or da da da. I don't mean that, but it's just talking about the fact that it was hard in that sense, and at the same time, no lie, I'm also a business-minded person, and I became more and more. When you are like 10 or 9, and I was like, oh, I'm going to devote my life to theater and theater acting, and this theater thing is incredible. Da, da, da. And then you grow up, and it happens to all of us to certain degrees and in different ways, but definitely I believe it happens to all of us. We want more like tangible results in our lives. We want to marry, or at least be able to marry in the end, what is tangible and intangible. And so I definitely developed over the years a more sensible side of me when it comes to the business, the undeniable business aspect of things. And because I want it to be valued as well. And so it's like, imagine as you are going through this experimental thing, it's highly experimental thing, as an actor, this is also the part of the burden of the responsibility when it comes to its quality and when it comes to this aspect of it. Yeah. I don't know if I could respond well. Maybe I went on tangents. I don't know. How do you feel, Violet, and anyone?
That was so amazing to hear about your process and how you're kind of a maybe slightly grounding force on set.
Yeah, I guess at times grounding and challenging. I mean, we both were challenging in different ways at different points, but yeah, I guess maybe more grounding. Adrian can say if I was, but I would be happy if I was.
I want to say that first, I want to say something because you've mentioned about it being experimental. So just because this experiment, when used in connection with films, it can be misunderstood and stuff. So I want to make it clear that we put the word to sleep is not an experimental.
Yes, the making.
Exactly. It's not an experimental or avant-garde film. We put the word to sleep is narrative feature. Definitely, the making of it, the process of making it was highly experimental, and really we pushed improvisational filmmaking to extremes with it. And I think based on how editing is going, I think we might have something here. Yeah. So to your question, Duru, about being grounded, yeah, there was a certain form of I don't want to call it conflict, because it was not like us having
the thing
a
is,
fight or a disagreement. But
like, the thing is, like, was I maybe a grounding force, as Violet beautifully put it? Because I say beautifully because I'm not sure if I was.
What I'm replying. That's what I'm replying about, actually. So
okay, sorry, I thought you kind of got it wrong. But okay.
I was going around the question. I was not answering directly. I was like going around, because so yes, I think there was I was saying that I think there was a certain type of as I said, I don't want to call it conflict. I can't find the right word for it, because definitely Duru was pushing towards a more grounded and less improvisational and less chaotic approach. Because why I call it chaotic, although there was so much work, there was so much planning, the work and the planning and all this effort was put into making it more improvisational. Because with Be My Cat, we improvised the dialogue, but we had lots of plot points that we had to stick to. But we put the world to sleep. I wanted to push things even further, both with the period of living, of partially living in character. So for we put the world to sleep, I partially lived in character for years, and I wanted to push things forward also with improvising not just the dialogue, but also improvising lots of plot elements. Okay, so that means that can feel a chaotic way of working, but actually, in order for that to work, tons of psychological work and partially living in character and constantly adapting, constantly finding new ways to adapt to the new challenges had to be found. It's a paradoxical way of work, because at the same time there is so much work that you need to put in it, while it can still feel chaotic, like all these things. So I think Duru was more grounded. I think she was pushing towards a type of work that does not lead to even more impro and even more chaos and even more problems to solve. And I think I was pushing towards a type of work which led to more problems and more obstacles and more risk taking, which was already enough for this production. It was already like we were already up to up to our throats, deep in risk taking with this production. So yeah, from that perspective, definitely she was more grounded here, and she's going to fully have her waves with Pure, with the third movie in the trilogy, because that one we plan, not I, both of us, we fully agree on this. We plan to make it much less improvised and much more structured, and that will hopefully shorten the production time, and it's going to be a total different approach and different I don't know, different results, but we will see. We will see in what ways exactly. Yeah. So
thank you so much.
Of course, of course, Violet. By the way, in the meantime, I have put, if you click the bubble for the comments, I have put the link to my experimental short films here in the comments to these spaces. Oh, Ivan, hi! Thanks for joining us. Ivan is also a filmmaker, an indie filmmaker, who actually interviewed us for his Zine, which is. I still don't know the definition of Zine. I think it's a form of a magazine, a form of a podcast combined with magazine, something like that. I'm going to add you even as a as a speaker, so you can explain. And by the way, when is your Zine coming out?
Yeah. Also, first off, hi. It's good to talk to you again.
Of course.
Yeah.
Hi, Yvonne. Hi. I haven't heard from you after my last email. I can also say, I mean, it's been a while. I responded to it late, and then I haven't heard from you. But it's okay. I'm not.
Yeah,
saying anything.
I'm finishing up the second issue of Footage Fiends now, and it's going to have an October release. So we're close.
Good.
Huh. Oh, cool.
You think you received my last email?
I don't know.
It's been a while, but
maybe I'm going to go back and check and make sure I answer you.
That's lost. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Now I've publicly
spam or something.
Please do. Push you into a corner so you cannot run away from responding. Anyway, no problem. If you couldn't, or if you got lost, or you got busy, absolutely no problem. I just wanted to say it just spontaneously. I just remembered, and I just wanted to say.
Yeah, sorry to intervene. I wanted to say that sometimes I realized it happened for me once, that even emails from people I've communicated with before, it happened to me once, it got in spam. I was like really surprised, like why? The person was whitelisted. So it's very rarely, but it can happen. So maybe that happened to your email to who knows.
There's been a lot of developments in terms of stuff that I'm doing filmmaking wise. So I need to get up with y'all and talk to you sometime and let you know what I'm doing and what's happening and where the inverts is taking me.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So, by the way, you were working even on a feature film, on a found footage feature film. How's that going?
It's going great, and that was part of the development. Is that now I'm working on 2 found footage feature films. I got linked up with a film commission in Rochester, New York, and they wanted to know what I was doing next. And now I'm co-writing another feature with a producer / friend of mine. Madeline, you may know her. She runs Unnamed Footage Festival. And we're writing one together to shoot in New York next year. And we're going to shoot Murky next year as well here in Mississippi. So
that's wonderful to hear.
Good.
Yeah. I'm wishing you
all that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Good luck.
And we would like to see the things as they come out.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll definitely send y'all some screeners to them once we get them put together.
Great.
But yeah, we have a full interview with Adrian and Duru for anybody listening that doesn't know what Footage Fiends is. It's like we were going for quarterly, but we decided we want to make it a more of a quality over quantity kind of thing because we think our first issue is really good and we want to keep that quality standard moving forward. But we have a full interview with Adrian and Duru about We Put the World to Sleep and about their process while making it, as well as Adrian's previous film, Be My Cat.
And I believe Ivan's interview actually was the first interview that somebody took of both me and Duru. But in the meantime, because the publication took a lot of time, there were others interviews being published. But that was actually the first one being taken.
Yeah, hopefully we still have some stuff in there that we asked that they haven't heard yet. You specifically told me I asked you a question that you'd never been asked before. So hopefully nobody else asked that in the meantime. It's
possible. It's possible. Yeah. If I did say that, and already, I mean, there are so many things to talk about and so many things to be asked. So so besides, did Anne Hathaway watch Be My Cat, which is a question that I already feel whenever I'm asked this question in a podcast or in an interview, it already started to feel like theater. In
Right.
theater acting, you need to again, every night you play the same play, you need to, like, tens, sometimes even hundreds of times, say the same lines again and again. And
good analogy.
People, and, yes, and this is how I feel when people ask me. I feel like performing, honestly. I feel like my words, because there are so many, there aren't many ways in which you can reply differently. So I literally feel
you need to record and press play.
Yes, exactly.
When it comes out.
Exactly. Exactly, and press play. Yeah. And there are some other questions that also get repeated, but yeah, that's the nature of the business, if I may say so. Yeah, obviously some questions will pop up more, and I genuinely make an effort to respond as new as and fresh as I do, as if it's my first time. I'm honestly making an effort, because I don't want to ruin people's podcast. When I'm asked, I still wanna, I wanna be nice and cool and genuine. Yeah, but sometimes it's a bit hard, actually, especially when things repeat so much in between interviews.
Yeah, I think you both did great. You both gave me great answers, and we talked about some really cool and interesting stuff, conceptually and in terms of production. So I'm excited to get the piece out there. I'll send you guys the write up of it here in the next week or so.
Sure, wonderful, cool.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, of course. And anybody interested in securing a copy of that, just follow my profile to Footage Fiends, and we are selling back copies of the first issue, and you can pre-order via Patreon the upcoming issue with Adrian and Duru in it.
Yeah, and this way you support another filmmaker as well, I assume, because we totally understand the Patreon. We understand it so well, the Patreon need for indie filmmakers.
Yeah, definitely. And our entire zine is funded through that. Like, we pay the writers through that. We do all of that stuff through that. So, if we could get the Patreon going a lot for Footage Fiends, that would be great. That would help us a lot, because I want to be able to actually pay our writers and do bigger things, so.
Yeah, it's for us as filmmakers.
Great idea.
For me and Duru, I think it's a little bit more. I think it's a little bit more challenging to even. Sorry. Can you please mute your microphone in between the, like, when you do not talk? Can you please mute your microphone, because
there are some. You probably hear bugs in the background. I'm outside.
Yeah, there are some background noises coming. Okay, thank you. You can always unmute whenever you talk, only in between. That's what I meant. Yeah. So for me and Duru, it's growing our Patreon is it's a bit more challenging, because Patreon was initially meant to be used for creators that publish monthly content, like so practically it was meant, let's say, people who publish monthly, I don't know, cartoons, short videos, music pieces, art, plastic art and stuff. So so this way creators would contribute monthly, and they would get monthly exclusive content, but not just updates and stuff, like literal content, like every month a video and stuff like that. Because we are using it for filmmaking, it's a little bit harder to grow our Patreon this way, I think, because we do not have actual video content to provide to people every month. Like, obviously we cannot make a movie every month. So I would say that's the biggest challenge for us in the ways we use our Patreon. But we are trying to fight that. We are trying to compensate for that with the types of updates we are giving to people, and especially I think we're trying to compensate that with giving people thanks and producer credits in our movies, and also with the merch that they are getting, because that's an exclusive merch that can't be bought from anywhere else, like the cups and the t-shirts and stuff like that, with the exception of the posters, because I'm selling signed Be My Cat posters. So yeah, hopefully, and recently we've made a huge change to our Patreon page, because we have this trilogy. So this trilogy is so much focused on the number 3, because the trilogy. So it's everything that is connected to it. It's connected to the number 3. So even the Patreon, which now is mostly used to fund our trilogy and our living expenses while making the trilogy, again, also has 3 contribution levels, with $3, $33, and $333. So I wanted to. I had this idea, so that everything we do to reflect our trilogy. But also people can support us separately, not just on Patreon. Can support us simply by buying signed DVDs of Be My Cat, signed Blu-rays, and signed posters. Those are outside of Patreon. They can be bought from. I have a Linktree page of Be My Cat, and it's very easy to do that. Yeah. So, by the way, Brian, I've noticed that I think Duru, you asked to speak, but you haven't. You haven't.
Yeah, I didn't want to. I didn't want to step on anybody's toes. There were folks speaking.
No, it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I generally try to avoid interrupting folks. I did have a couple questions. One is for Adrian and Duru together. Adrian, you said previously in some earlier interviews that editing is the true horror. And I've been following on your Twitter in recent months when you've been describing the editing process. Like there was a day where you talked about like getting an idea on an edit and like running back to complete it. And where this question like comes into talking with you both is that you've talked about like your process for editing, and like how like you do an edit and then Duru takes a look at the edit, and then you like process the feedback from Duru. And so I wanted to find out whether like the experience of editing being the true horror has now like passed along to Duru, whether that's your experience as well. And also for you, Adrian, since like you're interested in this idea of like filmmaking as a way to like express ideas, like which feel like entirely organic to the viewer, where we're not like aware that we're like watching a film and we're able to like completely connect with it. Is there any part of you like after the trilogy is over that wants to like express like say like the creative and like personal frustration of something like an editing process through film?
Well,
I think you need to go ahead and answer.
But if you feel, Duru, you can take over actually. If you
No, I mean the editing part.
Yeah. Okay. So after the trilogy, well, first of all, we don't know if we are going to be alive after the trilogy, because there is the rise of AI, there is the tensions between the tension between US and Russia and nuclear weapons. so the goal is to we just make the trilogy, and then who knows. anyway.
That's why we are postponing so much. We've been like waiting for the exact opportunity, the exact timing for anything like We Put the World to Sleep to come out. So
Yeah, and it felt like that exactly on a number of occasions while we were working on the movie. There were things in the news that were creepily. Can you say in English creepily from creepy? There were creepily. You cannot say, but I'm going to say it now anyway.
You can. It's a real adverb, and I teach English, so you can.
Yes, I can. Oh, okay. Thank you. Now it's a different life for me knowing that I can. Okay, so yeah, there were so many things that were creepily coinciding in reading in the news, like the nuclear tensions and stuff like that. They were creepily coinciding with the subject of our movie, and it felt already this was a movie with meta layer. And anyway, let's not go into it. Let's not spoil anything about the movie. So already, but this is not a secret that we make movies that try to blur the lines between reality and fiction. Okay, so obviously, while working on a movie that tries to blur the lines between reality and fiction, you actually read news about stuff that are actually threatening, to the whole world, and I mean, you get double blurring of lines between reality and fiction. So yeah, it's kind of in touch with what's happening in the world, if you think it that. And to respond now, Brian, to your question about editing and stuff, I think I'm getting there is definitely I have a little bit of a paradoxical connection to editing. I mean, yes, there are moments when I really hate it, and it really feels like such a chore and such a struggle. But also there are moments when you totally get engaged into the process. It's like I don't know if any of you is a writer, not even writing, like sometimes it can even happen while you are writing a short piece of paper, or Violet, you've written reviews and stuff, when that moment when you really flow with the writing, when you're fully there and then your fingers just go on the keypad, and you just flow with it. You're in the moment, and all the ideas come to you,
like you are in the zone.
In the zone, exactly. Yes. So when that happens with editing, it's no longer a chore. It's no longer a struggle. It's no longer a horrifying experience, And lately, I can see that I had some moments when I got into the zone while editing. So when that happens, it's a pleasure, and also you discover new things and you move forward much faster. And so yeah, it's both, I can say. But when that doesn't happen, when it's really hard, actually, it's both. Yeah. So Duru, now you can tell me. But yeah, Duru's experience with this, because of the way we collaborate on editing. Like I do the editing and she provides feedback. So I believe that. Like she watches, she provides feedback, and then I mean she's telling me what works and what doesn't work, and what I need to change and stuff like that. So then I go back
not
and
like
edit
in all the bits of it. It's not like he edits and comes up with a chunk of it edited. So it's not like also. So I'm doing this micro feedback in a way in this micro edited version, because I'm not cutting the bits from that huge chunk of I mean the whole piece, from the whole piece. So I don't get to decide or get to give feedback, how to say, to where he started to actually edit from. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. So it's
Drew, but I think Duru is also being modest here, because like I have quite a big list of her feedback, and when I started working on it and applying her feedback, I realized, wow, editing falls into place so much better about the movie. So you're being a little bit honest, my heart, about the not you are being modest. I meant about your contribution to, to editing.
Mainly like you move forward with the movie, you move forward with editing, and then here and there I give feedback, but mainly you move forward. But I can respond, like I don't know, what will I respond actually to to Brian's question. I guess
about I don't know about giving feedback. Maybe you can you can maybe you can tell me how this, not me, maybe you can tell us how this this process of feels for you, and stuff like that.
It feels weird in the sense like it gives me also a little bit of an anxiety, because as I said, he gets to mostly decide from that huge chunk. And since I'm not the one going through that, it doesn't mean that I don't trust his judgment, or I don't trust him being the actual director of this movie. But what I mean is, just like I had lots of freedom and room for improv or all types of creative input when it comes to being the other lead in this movie. So just like that, I feel like, okay, then everything is in our hands. And then like I can get to decide more about what the final story is going to be. And so it's a little bit like, is it better actually if I also do my own edit, and then we come together and compare both of them, and then get to choose from that? But there's a little bit of anxiety related to that, like, because I'm having to watch the piece that he edited, but I do not know what has been really left out, right? Because it's definitely over 150 hours of footage, right, Adrian? I think
you don't. Yeah, but that's only in the beginning, because that's only when I only this happened only initially when I selected the footage because right now we have a number of hours. So when I reduced those 150 or 200 hours, I really forgot, somewhere between 100 and 200 hours of footage. When I reduced them initially, to 10 hours or 9 hours, only then you didn't get to watch all the footage. But now it's different, because now once you provide feedback, and you can see exactly what is getting removed and cut from the footage as we move forward. So that only, this anxiety, I think, only was in the beginning.
Yes, but it's still not that much. I can see, but still I received from you an edited version. And it's so it's not like I can see as much as I want to see, if you know what I mean.
Yes, we can. We did consider. We can tell everybody that we did consider at some point of a sort of an experimental way of editing it, like literally like because we had so much footage, and that went in multiple directions, because the production was, because of the way we worked on it. The movie could have been edited in multiple ways, and every edit, I used to joke, but seriously, it's serious. It's a joke, but it's also serious. I mean, I used to say that if 1,000 people edited this movie, they would come up with totally 1,000 different stories, like 1,000 different movies, because depending on what you choose to include, totally, not totally, but in a huge proportion, it changes the story and being told. So we thought about this, of the idea of me editing a version of the movie and then Duru editing in parallel with me her own version. But yeah, it's a little bit too crazy, a little bit too complicated and too chaotic, you know.
At the same time, then it might not be an Adrian Țofei production, so to speak. Might not be the director's signature and vision.
Well,
it will be like as if I'm a co-director or something like that.
No, I disagree that this is an issue, Duru, because if we did something like this and then I don't know, like I mean, there are so many. Think of this. Like, it's even so many times. It's actually even recommended for directors to not edit their own movies, because it is said that they can fall in love with their own babies, and it's very hard for them to cut. You need, as an editor, you need to be brutal. You need to cut. You know, even when something feels good, you need to cut it out and leave like literally only the best and the best part of it, you know. And sometimes for people who are involved in the production, it's very hard to touch. It's very hard to be brutal with your own movie and leave only the top and the cherry on top to leave, because that's what it's required for the movie to be successful in the end. So for that reason, it's actually recommended sometimes for directors to not edit their own movie. So I don't think that would have been a problem, you know, with you doing this. But I just felt that, I don't know, already it's not an easy production. So I think
wanna fight over here?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Wanna fight over here?
So already this is a complicated, it's not a simple production. So I think that by having two versions of the movie, we are making it even more complicated. So we are adding it even more. Do you get what I'm saying here, Duru? I mean, if you are the grounded person in this, you should understand that the most grounded thing to do is to not have two movies, and have just one.
Absolutely. No, I would go crazy, I think. At the same time, yeah. I don't have the technical know-how about editing. Definitely. I would have to learn from scratch. And to be honest, I'm not willing to. The thing is that if I had a person who could do that, like, you know, just like you would dictate your speech to someone who can write 10 fingers on what was it called? The typewriter? Am I saying it correct? Yeah.
Yeah, no, you are totally right to feel this way, because you are thinking like a filmmaker. I mean, most filmmakers, this is how they think. They have an editor, you know. They don't do they don't struggle with the technical. Okay, how does the program editing works? You know, where
exactly
is the thing? You know, I have to, for example, half of my work, not right now, but for example, on Be My Cat, I can say this. On Be My Cat, like more than half of my editing work was learning how the editing program works. Literally, like for every new thing that I was doing, what I was trying to do, first I had to Google, you know, like how to do this with Premiere, because I edited in Premiere Elements. You know, I even Be My Cat, I didn't even work on Premiere Pro. Premiere Pro was considered at that point like the top the top editing program for Windows computers. So, but because I knew that I never edited a film in my life, not even video or anything, I downloaded the more simple version called Premiere Elements. So they did this Premiere Elements presumably for prosumers, like not somewhere between amateurs and professionals. So I thought, okay, since I never did it before, I'm gonna edit a movie with Premiere. And even that one, I needed a lot too, and not just the technical stuff, also the learning how to edit a movie, learning what works and what doesn't work in terms of telling a story through the cuts you make. And oh my God, the sound, I got crazy, of how to work with that thing, sound compression and all these details. Like I've spent, I think, weeks reading and understanding sound compression. It's madness. So literally more than half of my time of Be My Cat was learned actually how to do the edit. And now I'm editing with Final Cut X, Final Cut Pro X on a Mac, on a MacBook Pro. I'm editing. We put the work to sleep, and but even now, even with my experience from Be My Cat, even now, from time to time, I find myself Googling, how to do this, because obviously, yeah, I'm not a guy. I mean, professional editors, they do that every day nonstop. That's all they do. So, indeed, there's tons of time is spent on learning, still to this day, on learning how to do stuff while I do the stuff. So,
do you prefer Final Cut to Adobe Premiere? Out of curiosity, because I use Premiere Pro for all my editing, and I'm curious, do you like Final Cut better?
Yeah, I can only. Yeah, I haven't used Premiere Pro, so I can't compare with that. So I've only used Premiere Elements and the old version from 2014. So I think it was even Premiere Elements 12 probably. Probably it was even the one released in 2012. I don't know. So between that and Final Cut Pro, I definitely prefer Final Cut Pro now. But I wouldn't know to compare with the current Premiere Pro. So
yeah, that makes total sense. I was just curious.
Although from what I've read, Premiere Pro, it's much more. It offers more options, but it's also more complicated, and the learning curve is different. So because literally my choice of buying a MacBook Pro was literally, I wouldn't choose otherwise to buy Mac, because I felt like they are too expensive compared to Windows laptops. But I bought it specifically only in order to be able to use Final Cut Pro to edit the movie, because I wanted a powerful editing program that is still not too hard to use, that won't take all my time learning how to use it, just go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do a lot of Googling using Premiere Pro, so I totally understand.
Yeah. So I've read some reviews. So yeah, that's what made me choose this one. I'm totally happy. I'm totally happy with it. Yeah. In terms of the way I use it and stuff like that. Yeah. We are approaching 2 hours right now. So
what about ending it when it's exactly 0000?
Yeah. Okay then.
For us. Yeah. I mean.
Okay.
Not
then. For us. Yeah. So that means we have 13 more minutes. If anyone else has anything to say, there is Cloudy, there is Crispy, and there is Human here. I'm calling you by your screen names, by your nicknames on Twitter, because I don't know. So if you want to intervene or say anything, or also
look at the chat, because
I checked it.
I couldn't see
checked it. There are no new messages. I checked it. There are no new messages in the chat. So if you want to intervene in the discussion, I lost. Yeah, tell me.
Oh, I just finished watching your experimental film, The Lost Footage, on YouTube. And you're right. It's very much what you were talking about earlier.
Sorry for putting you through
about about 3 minutes. I had to stop and read what you were. I've seen the timeline on there, and I was like, "Oh, this is what he was talking about," because I had to keep going back and checking to see if it was messing up or what was going on.
Yeah. So can I tell you a secret? Like, I haven't watched it entirely myself. Oh my God. So at some point I sent it to a filmmaker friend, and then he sent me a message and he apologized for not watching it in full. And I felt so bad, that, oh my God, he's apologizing, and he actually watched more than me. He watched 10 minutes. I don't think I watched 10 of it. Oh my God. I feel a little bit of a fraud when people do that, but that was not my intention. Okay, that was not definitely.
After reading your description and what you were talking about earlier, I got it. I understood what you were doing with it and what you were saying. But if I went in blind, then I'd have been like, what happened here? Did he forget to put something in?
That I've learned that during a festival. So somebody entered the screening late. So the movie was already playing when they entered the theater. They were late.
Oh man.
And they were asking the people there on the festival, where is the movie? And they said, this is the movie. And they really thought that they are like literally that they are making a bad joke, or they are mocking them or something. They didn't believe literally them that is the movie. So it was a little bit hard, a little bit of an awkward situation, I was told.
That's the beginning of a horror movie. You walk into a theater and then it's just a blank screen and everybody's like, "This is the movie. What are you talking about?" And they're like, "I don't see it."
Oh, I didn't think of that. That would cause some really unsettling feelings to be looking around and everybody intently watching a black screen.
Yeah, so I've heard that there were various reactions. I've heard that some people were really saying like, "Oh my God, this is genius." Other people took it as an opportunity to go to the bathroom. and they returned towards the end and they asked, "Okay, what did I miss?" Ironically, of course. And other people, yes, for some people it worked on a because this was meant as conceptual art, okay? Because not the movie is important here, but the concept. Same thing with Andy Warhol's Empire, or with John Cage's 3 minutes and 44 seconds. Yes. If
you hadn't have told me it was inspired by Andy Warhol before I went in, I would have been like everybody else and just kind of confused with it. But when you said it was undiscovered footage, then the light bulb went off in my head, and I was, "Oh, I get it. That's clever."
Yeah, that's the whole point, And I always, what the thing is this, like I always felt that Andy Warhol didn't go far enough with Empire because I don't think there was still in cinema, there was still no equivalent of John Cage's 3 minutes and 44 seconds composition. By the way, for all of you listening, that's one of the most experimental and revolutionary at the same time and controversial piece of music ever written. It was written by contemporary composer John Cage, but I think he passed away some years ago. Called 3 minutes and 44 seconds. It was written for piano, and literally the guy came, sat in front of the piano in silence for 3 minutes and 44 seconds. So that was the music. So for the first time in history, you had silence being presented as music, pure silence, nothing else. Just the guy sitting in front of the piano, and I felt like this really challenges the really the notion of what music is and what art is, and it really forces you to think outside of the box. And as I said, that matters for me. This type of
well, that's kind of what you created, was a visual Schrodinger's box kind of thing. Was that, did the film exist or not exist until you saw it?
And I always felt that nobody did that, the equivalent of 344 in cinema. Okay, so Andy Warhol, yes, he did show a building for 8 hours, but nobody showed a blank screen for 8 hours, 1 hour, whatnot, and call it a movie. And or black screen. It's not blank, but black anyway. So, and I thought, okay, how can I do that and justify its existence as a movie? Because I don't believe in doing. There has to be a concept. There has to be a concept that justifies its existence as a movie. You can't just put a black screen there and say it's a movie just because I want so. It doesn't work that way. So then and then it literally, like one day it's like, like that bulb that lights in your head. I was like, oh my God, found footage provides that. It's like, I couldn't believe that out of all the genres, found footage provides just justification, and I thought, okay, what if footage hasn't been found, I mean, it existed, therefore you have the right to show that black screen because it exists, okay? There was the footage, somebody shot it, but it hasn't been found. So
yeah, like I said, you kind of inadvertently created a film version of Schrodinger's box where it didn't really exist until you saw it, and then, and it still hasn't been existed yet.
I actually don't know. Sorry, I don't know about the Schrodinger's box. Is that what is that?
Oh, that was a concept he had where he put a cat in a box, and you didn't know if it was alive or dead until you opened it and checked.
Okay, so it's a kind of a thought experiment.
Right. So it's kind of, is the film still undiscovered, or is it only discovered until after you watched it? Kind of thing is what you made with that.
Yeah. So and actually that's and I really wanted to challenge this thing, but some other people I realized took it in a different way. They actually took it as a genuine horror films, because they looked at it, and while watching, they imagined, like, oh my God, they told me afterwards, like, wow, I was imagining of all the horrifying things that this footage actually had, and that normally we would have seen right now if the footage was found, So they were imagining the most horrifying things. So for them, for some people, it actually worked as a horrifying horror movie. So there was that effect as well. Yeah.
So you kind of created a whole new medium with that little art experiment.
Yeah,
kind of fill in your own blank horror film.
Exactly. It's interactive as well, because you control the story with your own mind.
Now Andy Warhol dipped his toes in horror, and he made a vampire movie, and
he did.
So
I didn't know that.
So if you had a chance to work with any of the fictional, classical monsters, and you went to make a film, which one would you pick? Because he picked vampires for his little experimental film.
If I had to,
the last moments, Adrian. So
the last 3 minutes. The last 3 minutes, yeah, because we said we are going to end this at 12. Yes, I think I would go with, let me think, the classical monsters. Initially the third part of the trilogy was supposed to be Dr. Frankenstein, and then it was I went to scrap that project. So probably I would choose Frankenstein. I would still choose Frankenstein.
That would be
probably.
I hope you get to explore that further down the road, because that sounds extremely interesting. I'd like to see your take on it.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I still want to do it. I just told you it was a quick answer because that's something that I had in plan, that I was planning to do. But right now, let me see. Is there anything else from the classical monsters? Yeah, I'm not. I would really have to think, but yeah.
There's actually two found footage that explores that. There's a Frankenstein's Army and the Frankenstein Project, both dealing with the Doctor and the monster respectively.
Yeah. Probably I would still choose Frankenstein because I'm definitely into these life and death metaphysical big questions, about the nature of existence of and where we are coming from and where we go. And Frankenstein touches these philosophical issues, I think, probably more than any other monster in so yeah, probably I would go for Frankenstein if I were to choose. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna get off here again, and so you guys be able to cut it off on your time limit. So thanks for the question. Thanks for answering.
Thank you so much. Claudia, we have another request. Okay, we have a invite to no, cancel. I invite as a speaker.
Hey,
okay. I approve that, but
hey, Adrian.
Maybe you need to.
Okay. Hi there.
Hey, Adrian. Hello, Duru. Just real quick question. Duru, on your Twitter, I've heard your music. You're a great singer. Adrian, we talked about music before. And is there any plans for Duru to maybe have a scene singing or any way to incorporate music in your found footage films?
Thank you. That's so sweet. That's so sweet when I hear that somebody really when I hear this and when I hear moreover that you would love it in one of his movies. It's beautiful. I always wanted to incorporate my singing into a role and never had the chance yet. Although I did. During theater, we had this part where we all sang, what was it? Let me find it. It's been a hard day's night, and I've been, that old song. And yeah, so I always enjoyed when I sang it quite loud. But apart from singing it all together, I always wanted to sing by myself in a movie, and I always had this. I still have this dream of playing Maria Callas.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Because I think, thank you. I think I feel like kinship when it comes to her soul, and at the same time, I think we a little bit look alike. So, of course, I'm nowhere near her voice, but we all know, we've seen many examples of actors who can sing, working on their singing really intensively for a role and then really taking it to the level of the real life person that they are playing, like at least something near to it, or so yeah, I still have that dream. Right now Angelina Jolie is playing, maybe you heard of it, you guys, all of you, I don't know, in Pablo Larraín's new movie, but I think she's going to play her last days. Although I saw they're also looking for a younger singer actress, or just a singer for a flashback or something like that. And I think they are looking for someone younger than me and who is an actual soprano. But I would like to still be considered. Of course, that would be wonderful. But I don't know if Adrian has this. He's open, I can definitely say. Yet I don't know if he has it for pure, or what do you think, Adrian?
Well, I cannot say my heart because I would spoil one of these two movies. So I really cannot say. Yes, you may hear Duru singing in something upcoming, but I don't want to say more because I don't want to spoil. And yeah.
Awesome. Okay, obviously, I'm not sure about it as well. I mean, I wasn't faking when I asked this to him right now. I was really not faking.
Yeah, no. I know because it's
but not everybody knows, so that's why.
Yeah. So as you know, as everybody knows, actually we are still in a process of editing. We put the work to sleep, so still it's being decided which parts to keep in the movie and which parts to to keep it on our laptop. And also for Pure, it's just in development for now, so that's too early to think about this. So there may be a possibility, but that's all I think that I can say for now.
I got
it. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for doing this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Exactly. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending, and definitely hope to do this again at some point. Maybe after we have a trailer, or we put the world to sleep, or maybe after we have a world premiere and stuff like that, to talk more about what's happening and people's reactions, and also to talk maybe about the movies we'll be watching till then. Yep. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Yes, and it was nice to have this. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Thank you.
Of course.
For getting in touch, and we hope the ones who didn't will decide to also jump in the next time.
Yeah.
But it's good to see nonetheless. Doesn't matter. It's beautiful anyway. But it's good to definitely talk like this back and forth. It's beautiful. I really loved it.
Yes, me too. I liked it. I enjoyed it a lot, actually. I must say I enjoyed it more than our YouTube Q&As. Yeah, definitely felt better. Okay. Have a great day, or if you are about to, or evening, I don't know, depending on where you live in the world, and we are going to have a good night, hopefully. Yeah.
Sleep, basically.
Yeah.
I'll directly sleep.
Exactly. Okay, I'm going to end this and see you soon.
Take care, everyone, and all the best to all of you.